Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back, as always, to another video on the channel. It's Ansonex, and today, or rather tonight, I just wanted to talk about what's been going on in Deadlock over the past couple of weeks, how I feel about the general state of the game, and what I think's been causing a lot of the issues that we've all been experiencing playing the game the past couple of weeks, because it's been a tough couple of weeks to be a Deadlock playtester. We're starting to feel some really hard carryover effects from like the massive gameplay shift that is going from 4 to 3 lanes in the first place, and the fact that there's been minimal balance patches. Even though the ones that we have gotten have been good, they have been minimal for how big a shift it was from now February 25th, which that's now over a month ago. It's March 27th, the night that I'm recording this. So what I think is actually going on and causing this like player dissatisfaction at its core, we had a game that was balanced for 4 lanes, and we essentially, and I say we, I don't want to make it sound like I have anything, and that even then makes it sound bad, but I mean this in a good way, that it's like I haven't had anything to do with what I think the achievement of this game actually is, but we had a game that was balanced for 4 lanes, and we just dropped it onto 3 lanes without any type of, like, there really wasn't. I took a look at the patch notes again while I was writing this script down, or this outline, and I was shocked because there weren't. I thought there were some more predictive balance changes, and there really weren't, outside of things like the Sinner's Sacrifice being buffed, which was kind of reverted, and then a sprint speed buff, which was buffed again. And so these balance changes, or rather not balance changes, these issues that have kind of presented themselves are not micro things, like Vindicta does too much gun damage. They're macro things, like McGinnis is basically unplayable because her kit like almost completely conflicts with this new map's design. A great example of this, like things that were balanced for 4 lanes relatively, the teleporters, right? Now the fact that the majority of the lanes are essentially linked at 8 minutes is pretty, 10 minutes, whatever, pretty absurd. And the fact that it's a majority of the lanes completely breaks the game and makes it an insanely repetitive gameplay loop of win one lane, immediately go and win the other lane, and then everybody team fight for the rest of the game, kind of thing. Has been driving me a little bit nuts over the past week trying to play this game. And these are things that I think all of us were totally expecting to happen when, you see a new patch like that to completely massively change the game like that. You're expecting things to be going wrong, but I also kind of expected, and I think, this is already a little bit negative, and it's a negative video because this game state is negative right now. But that's not the fault of the devs necessarily, right? I think that ultimately we all are. Any dissatisfaction that you have with this playtest, this game, is ultimately on yourself, right? You're playing this completely voluntarily. You didn't pay for it. You are being given access, right? So I think that to sit here and be like, oh, the game sucks, devs suck, what is this, that, you're not being productive, number one, and number two, it's not true. And so I want to just iterate that even though it's a negative video, this isn't anybody's necessarily fault, right? And not something that I'm saying needs to be fixed right now today, because it's a process, right? But I think these are the things that they really need to look at addressing, and based on the pace that they've had, I would really hope that they are very close to addressing. And so, long story longer, I really hoped that we would have seen some more substantial balance patches like we had a couple of weeks ago, because those were really astute and good predictions for what players were going to want, needed, and just reactions to the issues that we had at that time. I'm thinking cold front, I'm thinking jungle changes, but I would have loved to see something this week for that as well, because again, there's clearly clear issues that people are having with the game and are talking about like such. And I'm not saying that you need to completely rework the map again, or you need just a patch that's just as big as that one. You obviously do not. But I would have loved to see something like, for example, make McGinnis more viable, or reset the ranks when that patch dropped. And those patches we had had since then, they were great, but I really wish we had had a couple more meaningful ones in between then and now that might have made a more big difference on gameplay and relieved some stress. And one issue that's a little bit smaller, but certainly not insignificant, is that there wasn't a rank reset when or at any point, but specifically when the patch dropped that changed it from 4 to 3 lanes. And it's not like you went from playing Deadlock to Counter-Strike or Deadlock to Fortnite or anything, but it's a major shakeup, and it's going to shift the meta around enough that people's win rate is going to change without any increase or decrease in skill. Some people, especially in lower elos, are just going to intuitively play better or worse on a 3-lane map as opposed to the 4-lane one. And then on top of that, there were tons of people who came back to the game, and it's not like we boosted back up to 100K, but I think there were like an extra like 5,000, 10,000 people who played the day that the map change dropped. And so those people that came back, I don't know, some phantom player who hasn't played a game of Deadlock in 3 months, all of a sudden is dropped in with guys who've clocked 500 extra hours in that time. Yeah, of course they're gonna have trouble. The only game that you can do that in, and specifically me, is Counter-Strike, and I don't know why, but anytime I pick up Counter-Strike after a few months, a year plus off, all of a sudden I'm the best player to ever touch it. But I watch a YouTube video like this, but for Counter-Strike, and then all of a sudden, man, I'm ass. And it doesn't work that way in this game. I can tell you that right now. There's too much that changes on a month-to-month basis. And so, was it better before? Was it better before this patch? Was it better with 4 lanes? And I think it's hard to say, because what people are complaining about generally isn't gameplay related, it's balance related. And this is where the old bi-weekly update schedule, again, is just sorely needed for the tester morale, just so that we can quickly have these really glaring issues, these glaring meta issues addressed and somewhat timely, because it's exhausting and damaging to the morale of the testers. And I'm not saying they should bring back the bi-weekly thing permanently at all, because again, it's obviously not great for them if they decide that they wanted to move away from it in the first place in their development cycle. But after such a major gameplay shakeup, I really had hoped to see a little bit more reactivity on their end to these types of issues. The fact we're going into this weekend without a new patch, at least at this point on Thursday night, I would be surprised if they drop something on Friday, really just sucks, honestly. It sucks that I know that the meta is kind of solved for this patch because of the balance, because it's balanced for 4 lanes, essentially, but now we're still carrying over to the 3, and we've exited the carryover period, and we're now into the meta solving period. And because the meta was for 4 maps, that the balance is for 4 maps rather, that got shifted over to 3, the meta got solved very quickly because the game is broken in this current state. But with that said, it was not better before, because these severe matchmaking woes, the repetitive gameplay, these issues are new. But if you think back to the day 1 patch reactions, and you might say that this is a bit of a rose-tinted glass take, but it's important to remember, because the reactions to the removals of the issues of the 4 lanes the map caused, and the 4-lane map caused, rather, and that's primarily the solo lanes. Think about how much solo lanes sucked. And some people loved them. You're in the minority. I love you, but you're in the minority. And so, yes, while Valve is going to have to figure out a way to make split pushing more viable, figure out balance issues from dropping a roster balance for 4 lanes onto a 3-lane map, I still feel strongly that this game is headed in the right direction. It's just the past couple of weeks has been 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But again, we go all the way back to the map rework a month ago. It was 10 steps forward in the first place. That's all I got for you this time, guys. I want to thank you so very much for watching. I hope you have had a fantastic week, and I will see you again this weekend on Sunday for Deadlock Weekly. Actually, this is a great time to bring that up. I am going to move Deadlock Weeklies back to Sunday because it's created a little bit... I would record them on Sunday, and then I kind of had them all day Monday just sitting in my upload schedule while I was at work, which they're going to be like... There's going to be a patch that drops on Monday at some point, and then that video is going to get nuked. So we're going to move to Sundays at 6 p.m., and that's going to be the last time Deadlock Weekly is going to move for the foreseeable future. We're sticking to Sundays at 6 p.m. I'm sorry to make the change, but I wanted to make it earlier than later, because I know that eventually I'm going to record a whole Deadlock Weekly, have it sitting in my... have it sitting on my upload schedule, and then I'm going to be driving the forklift, and one of my buddies is going to call me saying that Deadlock got a huge patch, and then my video is going to be cooked. So, Deadlock Weekly, Sundays at 6 p.m. Guys, I hope you've had a fantastic week, and I'll see you again next time. Peace!